Morning. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can very well hear you.
Acha, but
But I cannot see your beautiful face, sir.
how do we do that?
Click on the start.
कैसे?
गुड मॉर्निंग सर, आई एम बी एन दीक्षित।
हाँ दीक्षित साहब, कैसे हैं आप?
सर आपकी दुआ है जय।
अच्छा,
बस
सब ठीक है। आप आओ कभी मिलने
काम
यार।
स्टार्ट है ये सर।
एक सेकेंड, ये संतोष का फोन आ रहा है।
Sir, please.
क्या बात है आशुतोष जी, बहुत मुस्कुरा रहे हैं। चलिए
I'm sorry, sir. I forgot to switch on my mic. I'm sorry, sir. Due to you and me, I think- sir,
मेहता साहब से रिक्वेस्ट करिए तभी तो बोलेंगे। आपको
वो संतोष
पर्सनली रिक्वेस्ट
संतोष
करना पड़ेगा ना।
सर, संतोष उनका मालिक शायद कि वो सॉरी, जो वीडियो है ना वो कुछ
सर का माइक ऑन है, वीडियो ऑन नहीं हो रहा है सर। अभी स्पीकिंग
ठीक है
पे
मिस्टर आशुतोष, कैन वी स्टार्ट?
यस सर।
सर वी कैन।
वीडियो
सर
इज
एक बार
नॉट
सर आप
देयर।
कैन वी स्टार्ट नाउ?
यस सर, यस
सर
सर,
वी
प्लीज
कैन
इमिग्रेट इट।
सर वी कैन वेरी वेल स्टार्ट। संतोष जी, सर का माइक, सर का वीडियो कैसे स्टार्ट होगा?
अरे वीडियो नहीं स्टार्ट होगा तब भी यही स्टार्ट करो भाई।
स्टार्ट कर
थोड़ा
दीजिए
सा
सर।
तो उससे फिजिकल प्रेजेंस आ जाती है।
नहीं, ऑडियो नहीं हो रहा है, वीडियो नहीं हो रहा है स्टार्ट मेरे से।
ओके संतोष जी, कैन वी स्टार्ट? फिर क्या करेंगे, अभी टाइम लगेगा।
कैन वी डू वन थिंग? कैन आई क्विट एंड रीजॉइन एंड सी?
प्लीज प्लीज सर, प्लीज प्लीज
गिव मी 5 मिनट्स फिर, ठीक है?
प्लीज सर। संतोष जी जरा चेक करो ना, कहाँ प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, प्रॉब्लम।
आशुतोष जी आपने बहुत तगड़ा लिंक पकड़ा है।
Sir, basically the purpose is to create awareness, sharing knowledge, and sir, we have very good experts with us. You know, sir, Mehta Sahab is one of the expert nowadays on this policy of these EV vehicles, electronic vehicles. So I requested him, sir, kindly make up a small awareness program for us, for our participants. What is this EV battery and what is the policy of the government in due near future? Now, sir, he is back to DDG ordinance.
Okay, so he is having the excellent knowledge on the electrical vehicle.
Yes, sir, he is excellent. Excellent, no doubt. ये सर रुड़की इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज के जो प्रोडक्ट्स है ना सर, दे आर वेरी गुड.
अच्छा अच्छा. Who are the other speakers, main speaker?
मेहता साहब,
Apart from Mehta sir?
nobody has sir, only you.
Oh, oh.
So, sir, you know we have just 2 hours program, and in this 2 hours program, I don't want to bring more and more people. He's today he's at the level of now additional secretary.
No, it is the pleasure for us.
Yes, sir. He's additional secretary level.
We feel honored that he is present.
Yes, we are honored. Certainly, we are honored. He is here. We are honored.
Now we should call him in the more events.
Yes, sir. Certainly, we will call him. I think that he is going to be retired this year, and we will take his.
Whatever the things are there, sir.
Yes, sir. We will take his full help and the support.
Expert is expert.
Yes, wonderful expert.
Anybody from ITBHU?
है क्या? आ गया सर. ग्रेट सर.
चलो. आवाज नहीं आ रही वहां से, मैं सुन नहीं पा रहा हूँ.
सर
I'm sorry, sir. My mic was off. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Now it is okay, sir.
हाँ, it's okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you to be here.
Sorry for the delay here.
No issue, sir. Thank you, but you are here, sir. It is a great opportunity for all of us. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for coming.
Ashutosh and Mr. Dixit, it's a privilege for me that you have called me for this webinar. I am honored to be present, and so that I can, whatever I know to the best of my ability, I'll try to share with all my colleagues and friends here.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, today we have the topic, the advent of the electric vehicles and the role of legal metrology. As sir have very good experience of both of these fields, electric vehicles as well as legal metrology, I think he is the right man to explain the relationship between these two. Sir, I would like to introduce our joint secretary, our Mehta sir. Shri Amit Mehta is a bachelor from IIT Roorkee in mechanical engineering. Senior DDG, Deputy Director General of Directorate of Ordnance in Department of Defense Production. Earlier, he was posted in the Ministry of Heavy Industries as Joint Secretary, and he looked after the automobile policy. Prior to this, he was the Joint Secretary in our Department of Consumer Affairs, where we all know he has done a lot of the implementation, formation, and bringing this new Consumer Protection Act, wherein we have large number of new things, new initiatives which were taken under his time, during his time, and he was basically the instrumental for preparing this whole draft of the Consumer Protection Act. Not only the Consumer Protection Act, sir, we have done a lot of amendments in the legal metrology, package commodities, national standards rules, and general rules. So, sir, he is basically an ordinance or Indian Ordnance Factory Services since May 1988. He has done his in the ordnance factories. He has worked in various divisions at various levels and has a very rich experience working in areas of production, planning, quality control, maintenance, and public procurement. I remember, son, when we were going for this NABCB certification for the legal methodology, he was very helpful, not only for administrative side of point, but also at the side of the preparing the documents and preparing us to be the NABCB accredited Metrology Division. Sir, thank you very much. Can never forget your blessings and your support, your blessings with the legal methodology in near future also. Thank you very much, sir. And before that, I think, sir, you have also worked in the department, in the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution in Food and Public Distribution Department as the director. So he has large work, experience, not only to the industry, but also to the society. With these words, I'd like to request Mehta sir to kindly start. Sir, would you like to say anything, Dikshu sir? Please.
Sir, it is the great events where we find that Sri Amit Mehta ji, and he is the one of the very big bureaucrat, and lot of knowledge on these issues, and he is well aware about the legal methodology and this subject also. And today we have to correlate that what is the relation between electrical vehicles and the legal methodology, and how much the legal methodology will support the electrical vehicle, because these electrical vehicles are very good for the environment and less pollution free, and pollutions control is one of the technology of the legal methodology, and the legal methodology may when it will be as taxi and other type of things, then you have to verify this uh, vehicle. So there are the lot of the uh, parameters in the legal methodology, that how it will be regulated and charged, and so many things are there. So we welcome Amit Mehta Sahab, and I hope that his speech will be great for us, and after a very long time, we are going to hear him. So we welcome Amit Mehta Sahab, and we request him to come on the dais and give us some of the silent feature on this very subject. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Sir, Mehta sir, now I will not like to take more time. You please start, and we are all actually eagerly waiting for your presentation. Please, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ashutosh and Mr. Dikshit, for their kind words. I don't think I really deserve all what they've told about me. I have tried to make a presentation and try to put the facts before the August House so that For them, it is a beginning to a long journey of new automobile technology, as well as they can for themselves figure out as to what role this very, very important division of the government of India, the Department of Legal Metrology, has to play. And it has a pivotal role. As we go ahead, we will see in the presentation. I've tried to link both the topics to the best of my ability. So can we share the presentation now?
Please, sir. Please.
Mr.
Santosh,
Santosh will,
should I share or from your side
no,
you will share?
I think if Mr. Santosh shares it, it is better.
Yeah.
Because
Santosh
I
ji,
don't
please do
want
it.
to waste more time on that.
Please, sir. Santosh ji, can you start?
So as Mr. Ashutosh had mentioned, that this is the topic for today's discussion. Okay, we can now go to the next slide. So I'll just first mention what is electrified vehicle technologies. So maybe as time goes on, when you talk with people who are in this field, in the electric mobility field, they will be mentioning a word called XEVs. So XEV stands for electrical vehicle technologies, and X is just a terminology that is being used. And when we mention XEV components, so it means the components that are used in the electric vehicle, which are specific to the electric vehicle. Because an electric vehicle may have some specific components which is only for it, and other items which are used in other automobiles also, like tires, the body, the headlights. So those won't be called XEVs. So how do we define the XEVs are electrified vehicle technologies? So this is basically, they refer to a uh, family of technologies that have an electric powertrain, and it is capable of being propelled solely by an electric powertrain for some distance. So basically, the difference in this technology, in these technologies, is based on the source of energy that drives the vehicle. So when we hear about BEVs, that is battery electric vehicle, so it means that it derives all its energy from the grid. There is a battery, the lithium ion cell, and number of cells together form the battery pack, and that battery pack is charged from the electric grid. There is no use or no utility of a fossil fuel here. So that is called a battery electric vehicle. Now you must have heard about hybrid electric vehicles. So now what is a hybrid electric vehicle? And going further, what is a strong hybrid electric vehicle? That is called an SHEV. So these are certain terminologies which I think when we uh, start talking about the electric vehicle technologies, it is important to know these terminologies. So an SHEV gets its energy from the gasoline engine and the regenerative braking. So what is regenerative braking? I don't know whether we are in interactive mode. If we are in interactive mode, I would request someone from the audience to tell us what is regenerative braking. Otherwise, I will go ahead and explain what is regenerative braking. Anyway, not waiting for a reply from the audience, the regenerative braking is which provides for the conversion of the vehicle kinetic energy to electric energy while braking. So when you're applying the brakes, the kinetic energy of the vehicle gets converted into electrical energy, which charges the battery. Also, in a strong hybrid electric vehicle, not only we can have a engine which is powered by gasoline, which is powered by petrol, but it can also have a fuel mixture of gasoline and ethanol. So I will like also to inform the August House that there is an ethanol blending program, EBP, which is called an EBP in the country, which aims at having E20. E20 means 20% ethanol and 80% gasoline by the year April 2025. So that means all our vehicles, the gasoline petrol engines, not diesel engines, but gasoline engines, by the year 2025 will be E20 compatible. So I will also like to inform, like once you add ethanol to gasoline, the octane number of the fuel goes up. Once the octane number goes up, you can use a higher compression ratio in the petrol engine, whereby you get more power and more efficiency. And in our country, ethanol blending has a lot of use because we have a big rural economy, lot of biomass is there, molasses is there, sugarcane is there, which can be converted into ethanol, and then ethanol can be used for blending of gasoline, which also will save foreign exchange because you don't have to import petroleum. Ethanol can be produced in the country itself. So that is where when you add ethanol, it becomes a what you call the next definition, which is given in the table, that is called a flex fuel engine. It is called FFV dash strong hybrid electric vehicles. So it can be a pure gasoline engine with a battery, which can run on both the modes, the gasoline as well as battery, or it can be a flex fuel engine also, which can have ethanol blended fuel and as well as gasoline. So now we have another type of vehicle, which is an electric vehicle, which is called PHEV. So PHE means plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So where you have a strong hybrid electric vehicle with the facility of also charging it from the grid, it becomes a PHEV, and the battery capacity here is 6 to 8 kilowatt hour. Normally, in a mild hybrid electric vehicle, the battery capacity would be 1.5 to 2 kilowatt hour. But in a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, which has the gasoline engine as well as the electric powertrain, the battery capacity is 6 to 8 kilowatt hours. Whereas in a pure battery electric vehicle, which does not have a gasoline engine, the battery capacity can be anything between 30 to 50 kilowatt hour. Here the vehicle will run only through electric power, which is derived from the electric grid. Now, the advantage of having an SHEV, strong hybrid electric vehicle, is that the engine starts at speeds, starts in the electric mode, and in the slow speed, it runs on the electric mode. And as the speed goes up, and depending upon the optimal efficiency range, the gasoline engine takes over. Like in city driving conditions where the traffic is slow, lot of braking has to be done, then the car runs on an electric mode, and where in a highway where the drive is smooth, the gasoline engine then takes over. So in this way, both the electric powertrain and the gasoline powertrain, they work in tandem together, and the maximum efficiency is derived. It is found that around 40% of the time, SHEV would run on electric mode, and the balance time it would run on gasoline mode. Whereas, and also the efficiency, the emissions are much lower. Like if you compare an SHEV with that of BS6 gasoline engine, the carbon monoxide is 1/10 in a SHEV as compared to BS6 engine. The hydrocarbon emissions is also again 1/4. NOx is 1/40th. The PM particulate matter 2.5 is 1/10. So this is the advantage of SHEV over a pure gasoline engine. And of course, the ultimate is the battery electric vehicle, which runs entirely deriving its energy from the grid. So now the question comes as to why we don't have hybrid electric vehicles. We don't see many hybrid electric vehicles. That is because it has to have an additional powertrain, which is the electric powertrain, and the cost goes up. Okay, so now the electric powertrain, whether it is used for whichever technology, a battery electric vehicle or a SHEV, PHEV, has a motor, advanced chemistry cell battery, controller, inverter. So I will just give a few of the electric vehicle components, the XEV components, which we call. I'm just trying to make you familiar with the various components and the various terminologies being used. So we can go to the next slide. No? Next one. So these are some of the electric vehicle components, XEV components. Like the first one is the lithium ion cell for used in manufacture of lithium ion accumulator in electric vehicles. It is the primary element of the battery pack which stores the energy. Then we have the battery pack, which is used in the electrically operated vehicle. It is the reservoir, energy reservoir on the vehicle. Then we have the battery management system. So if you look at the battery pack in an electric car, the battery pack consists of cells. As we all know, a battery pack is made of cells. And the third component is the battery management system. The battery management system is the brain of the electric car, because the battery management system, the BMS as it is called, cuts off the charging if there is overheating. Let us now see if a cell it's short circuited, there are chances of a fire. So the battery management system will cut off the cell so that the fire does not take place. So the battery management system monitors the different parameters of the cells and battery pack to ensure safety and optimized performance. Next. Then you have the E-drive assembly or the E-axle, which consists of the motor control unit, and the gearbox. Using power from the traction battery pack, the motor drives the vehicle wheels. Then the wiring harness, it carries power from the battery power distribution unit to the various power drive components. Next. So now the traction motor is also a very important part of the electric vehicle. It converts the electric energy to mechanical energy and provides the required torque power for vehicle propulsion. Then you have the motor control unit. What does the motor control unit does? So it converts the DC input from battery to the AC supply for motor and controls the different motor parameters. So these three components, the traction motor, the motor control unit, and the DC-DC converter, they are three very, very important XEV, the electrical vehicle components in the electric vehicle. A DC-DC converter converts the high voltage DC of the battery to the low voltage DC supply for various components running on low voltage, like the cabin light, the headlights. So here the DC-DC converter converts the high DC voltage of the battery to the low DC voltage, which is required for various other things. Next one. So now we'll talk about the lithium ion battery pack. We have heard about lithium ion battery pack and number of uses. It is not only for an electric vehicle. A lithium ion battery pack is very important in today's day-to-day life also. Like it is used in consumer electronics. It is also used in stationary storage. So people will ask me, what is stationary storage? Stationary storage is, like you all know, like we are moving from conventional energy to non-conventional energy. Non-conventional energy, as we all know, has intermittent supply, like solar power. You get solar power only during the daytime. For night time, you need the solar power which is produced in the morning to be stored in the batteries, so that in the evening time when the sun is not there, you can get the electricity. So the lithium ion cells not only find use in electric vehicles, but also in consumer electronics and stationary storage, while in a solar thermal, in a solar power station. So this battery pack, this figure shows the various components, how it is placed in a vehicle. Okay, as you can see, the battery pack, which consists of cells, is placed in the bed of the vehicle, which is very close to the ground. So you all have in maybe science background. So we all know when the battery pack, which is quite heavy, is at the bottom, at the bed of the car, the center of gravity is lowered, and this also gives stability to the vehicle. Next one. Now, this diagram shows how a lithium-ion battery works. We all know that a lithium-ion battery will be using lithium, which is a positive ion, and it uh, moves from the anode to the cathode inside the battery, and the electricity similarly moves uh, outside in the circuit. And this is how a lithium ion battery works. Here I would like to tell you that the lithium does not get consumed. Rather, lithium is recycled. If you look at the European standards, it mentions that in a battery which is called advanced chemistry cell, ACC, it is called advanced chemistry lithium ion battery. Here, the requirement of European standard is as high as 85% of the material should be able to be recycled. Only then it can be exported to the European countries. So this is the benchmark that we have to work in. Today, like in our country, the advanced chemistry cells, that is the lithium ion batteries, are not manufactured. It is being imported from maybe Japan, South Korea, then China, Germany, different countries it is being imported. But here now we have various policies which encourage the manufacture of advanced chemistry cells in the country, and very soon we will be having manufacturing facilities of lithium ion battery in the country. Next one. So this is a very important diagram which shows as to the different materials which are required for the manufacture of lithium ion chemistries. Now, there are various types of lithium ion batteries. There might be a lithium iron phosphate, which is most common. Then there can be nickel, manganese, cobalt lithium ion batteries. Here main the main technology lies in the manufacture of the cathode, and the anode is a graphite honeycomb which houses the lithium ions. So this diagram shows you the various elements which are used in the lithium ion cells, in the lithium ion chemistry, which uh, are used in the manufacture and where our country is placed. As you will see, 70% of the materials required by weight are available in the country, like graphite, copper, aluminum, plastics, electrolyte. All these materials are available in the country, and we have a very vibrant ecosystem for these materials and for refining and manufacturing of these materials. Except lithium, which is a very important element, and lithium is the reserves are not there, not much in the country. It is in Latin American countries, then in like Chile, and we have it in Australia. Arrangements are being made to get lithium, but then what is important is the lithium has to be refined and recycled. So that is what we can have in our country, the recycling part of it or the refining part of it. Here the x-axis gives the uh, tons required for making 1 gigawatt hour capacity of battery. So this figure is important. You can keep this diagram, and this will give you a basic impression that most of the materials are available in the country for manufacture of lithium-ion batteries. Next one. So now these two terminologies are very important for understanding the electric vehicle technology, the advanced chemistry cell, the battery, which happens to be the core of the electric vehicle. So what we talk about is the energy density of a battery. So that is defined as in watt-hour per kg. So energy density gives us an idea as we should have the maximum energy in as small weight as possible. So if we have a battery with a high energy density, that means we get more energy packed in a lesser volume and in lesser weight. That way the vehicle becomes lighter, becomes more efficient. Then the other important thing is the cycle life, as to how many cycles we can have before the battery loses its important part of life. Here also I would like to tell you that it's important that when we charge our mobile phones or electric uh, battery in a vehicle, it should not be like we should be charging every now and then. It should be when, say, the battery capacity falls to around 20%, and we should charge it, say, up to around 80 or 90%. Not that every 5-10 minutes, whenever we have a socket, we charge it. So a battery, a lithium-ion battery, is nothing like but a elastic rubber band. So it depends on the number of cycles you have, how you stretch it and relax it. The more number of times you do it, the life gets reduced. It is in cycles. So we should not keep charging our batteries every now and then. It should be done in a predefined and a pre-planned and a proper manner. Next one. So this gives us an idea of how the interplay between energy density and cycle life is there. So as you see in the diagram, basically X, like this is basically a snapshot of the advanced chemistry cell ACC program, which incentivizes the manufacture of the ACC in the country. Okay, so as you see, if you look at the 10,000 figure, as you see the energy density increases, the X value increases. That means the incentive that is paid is more, and it is a better battery. Similarly, as the number of cycle increases, the coefficient of X goes up. Again, it shows it's a better technology. But today, the technology that is available across the world is the energy density of 200 to 250 watt-hour per kg and around 2000 cycles. So that would give around 400 miles per charge, around 500 kilometers per charge, and around 350,000 miles for a standard Tesla Model S car. And industry is quickly moving towards higher density and cycle life in the next few years. So that is how we are moving, and the policy that we have is also to encourage people to manufacture batteries with higher energy density and more cycle life. So, and that is how also the incentives being given is benchmarked against these two parameters. So what is important is that you should know that these are the two important parameters. Next one. So this gives a snapshot as to where the Indian automobile industry is placed at present. Here, the figures are in thousands. So if you look at the two-wheeler production, two-wheeler scooters, etc., so it is 1.7 crore per year. That is the manufacturing capacity. Three-wheeler, the production is around 7.5 lakhs. Passenger vehicles, it is 3.6 lakhs. commercial vehicles, it is around 8 lakhs. So this is how the country is placed in the automobile industry, and slowly we are moving towards, slowly but firmly, we are moving towards advanced technology. Now here, as you see, in most of the vehicle segments, either we are number 2 in the world or number 1 in the world. But as far as value terms is concerned, we are number 11th. So the quantity we produce is very high, but the value is less because we are at a lower technology level. So the policies are such that the stress is now towards making higher technology product items, vehicles like battery electric vehicle, fuel cell electric vehicles, more efficient vehicles, vehicles which have less emission, vehicles which have more electronics. So we'll touch on that topic also later on. Next one. So there are number of various policies are there for promotion of electric vehicles. One of the most important policy is the FAME scheme, the faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicles. Under FAME 1, which was up to March 2019, around 2.8 lakh hybrid and electric vehicles were incentivized. Now from the learnings of FAME 1, the FAME 2 was launched. Here also, the incentives are targeted towards shared and public transport. Shared and public transport means like basically it is for commercial vehicles, buses, three-wheelers, commercial taxis, not for personal four-wheelers. So if you want to buy an electric vehicle, you will get incentive if it is a taxi. But for a personal vehicle, different state governments have their various policies, but the FAME incentive will only come if it is a commercial vehicle. So here the concept is basically to move people and not vehicles. So it is for commercial vehicles. Only for two-wheelers, for a personal vehicle, incentives are given, which is in the range of 15,000 rupees per kilowatt hour. Just to give you an idea, uh, a ideal two-wheeler would have a 3 to 4 kilowatt hour battery capacity. That means an incentive of around 50 to 60,000 rupees comes from the central government. Next one. Now there are other schemes which are on the supply side. The FAME scheme was on the demand side. It was giving incentives to the consumers. Now on the supply side, you have incentives for the manufacturers, like for advanced chemistry cell and for manufacturing of zero emission vehicles like battery electric vehicle, hydrogen fuel cell vehicle, and the various advanced automotive technology products. So basically, this incentive overcomes the cost disabilities because in our country, the finance cost is more, the electricity cost is also a little higher. Then for advanced technologies, the battery electric vehicles and various other technologies, we don't have the economies of scale and we don't have a robust supply chain. So for the time being, to overcome these difficulties, an incentive percentage is given to the manufacturer so that he is encouraged to go to these new technologies. Next one. So there are a number of other ways also to promote the electric vehicles. Like you must have seen green number plates for electric vehicles. So that is basically to give a different identity to a electric vehicle, a zero emission vehicle, so that from a distance you can identify it is an electric vehicle. And maybe some state governments, if they want to make parking free for electric vehicles, so it has a green number plate and it can be identified easily. Similarly, if you want to waive off the toll tax for an electric vehicle, it has a green number plate and you can do it easily. So these are some things which different state governments have their own policies on this. But yes, the zero emission vehicles have a green electric plate, number plate for its distinct identity. Then the GST is for electric vehicles and chargers is just 5% as compared to 28% for a basic model of a car, which can go up to 50% on a very, very high end car. Similarly, we have guidelines and standards for EV charging infrastructure. So these guidelines are also very important because this fixes as to what the service charge would be there for in a charging station, what would be the cost of electricity, how will they get the land. Say if a corporation wants to put a EV charging infrastructure, so they would need land. And if the tourism department has the land available with them, then to facilitate that agreement between the two departments, certain guidelines have been specified. Then also the bylaws have been amended and to establish charging stations and infrastructure in private and commercial buildings. So all these steps have been taken for the promotion of electric vehicles. Next one. But then, yeah, so this is, as far automobiles is concerned, this is now the last slide. So here, as I mentioned, today we are maybe number one and number two in terms of in the quantities that we produce of two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and four-wheelers. But as far as value terms, we are number 11th. And if you look at the global automotive trade, it is 1,500 billion US dollars, and India's trade in automobile is just 2%. That is around 30 billion US dollars. So, so what is important is that we move up the value chain. We make more sophisticated and technologically advanced cars. So to bring before this August House, I'll just like to mention globally today, automobile will have 18% advanced technology, more than 18 to 20%, whereas in our country it is just 3%, and by 2030 it is expected that in the world in an automobile, around 30% will be electronics and advanced technology. So it is very important for us to move towards advanced technology so that we can increase the value. And advanced technology means not only battery electric vehicle, hydrogen fuel cell vehicle, and other types of vehicle, but also having advanced safety mechanism, emission control, various convenience, efficiency, flex fuel engine, CNG, LNG systems, sensors, components, and various other items. So around 103 such items have been identified where incentives will be made to overcome various disabilities so that the country can move up the value chain. Next one. So now the role of legal metrology comes, which is the pet subject of Mr. Dikshit and Mr. Ashutosh. So till now I was talking about electric vehicle technology, the charging infrastructure, the various policies that are in place for promotion of electric vehicles. Now, charging infrastructure is also a very important aspect of the advent of electric vehicles. So the question here arises that if let us now take the example of an electric car, which has a battery capacity of 30 kilowatt hour. So to give you an example, if the charging cost is 8 rupees per kilowatt hour per unit, 8 rupees, जो normal खर्चा है unit का इंडिया में, तो 30 kilowatt hour में the total cost that we will have is 240 rupees for a full charge. This is an example of a Tata Nexon. Okay, So 240 rupees, and it runs approximately 240 kilometers on a single charge. So that means approximately 1 rupee per kilometer, as compared to, say, if you buy a gasoline engine, it is petrol cost is around 100 rupees, and it gives around maybe 20 or less than 20 kilometers per liter. So the cost is around 5 to 6 rupees, as compared to 1 rupee in an electric vehicle. So the question arises as to why today presently, uh, though electric cars are seen, and it is being seen in large numbers, but still one has to think twice before buying an electric car, because of uh, the infrastructure, the charging infrastructure, which still has to come up in the country. Of course, here I will like to mention, as far as two-wheelers are concerned, the charging infrastructure is not a problem, because two-wheelers can be charged at home. In daytime, you use the vehicle. When you come back home, the battery is detachable. Take out the battery, take it to your home inside, and put it on charging. Whereas in a car, it's not that easy. It has to be, it cannot, battery is not detachable. Then if you are going intercity, then you need charging facilities on the way. Like Delhi Chandigarh highway is electrified, but then the question, when Mr. Ashutosh takes his car, he will think twice, because he is not sure whether he will find a charging station, whether it will be working, what will be the cost, whether he will be charged properly or not. So he will think twice. So basically, it is a chicken and egg story. The charging infrastructure, people are not putting up charging stations because they feel that not many cars are available. And people are not buying cars because they feel charging stations are not available. So it is a chicken and egg story which has come first. So this problem with time is getting over. Of course, this is not a problem as far as two-wheelers are concerned, and as far as buses are also concerned, because city buses have fixed routes. So you can always identify the routes, and you can have charging stations on the routes. But for cars, it is not easy. The route is not fixed. You don't know where all you need the charging stations. And number of other issues are also there, as to the availability of the electric infrastructure, the availability of the proper transformers, availability of land, availability of business model, and above all, and one of the most important factors, is also the role of legal metrology. So what do consumers expect? Consumers expect that when they go for charging their vehicle, they are protected as in similar transactions as when buying petrol or consuming electrical energy at home. Similarly, the charge point operators, they people who set up the electric vehicle charging station, EVCS, they also expect a proper legal metrology framework, because they don't want consumers to be coming to their premises and then saying that they have been charged more. So they want an independent party, the legal metrology department, to have a proper framework so that their interests are protected. They can set up charging stations. Similarly, the consumers, their interest is also protected, and they only pay for the charge, the quantity of electricity that they have consumed. Now, if these factors are not looked into, then what would happen? Charging stations won't come up. If charging stations don't come up, consumers will not be buying electric cars, because that range anxiety will always be there. So this is what is range anxiety. If I have to go to Dehradun, I don't know whether my car would be able to complete the entire journey, or it won't be able to complete. So that has to be taken care of. So this is the slide we are at present. So the guiding principle is that of proportionality in public interest for the ends being sought. So what is important is that the legal metrology department has to set up those controls to that extent as to what is required. It should be as light as possible and it should be able to meet the ends being sought. So, in consequence, legal metrology requirements must be as light as possible, provided they achieve the intended goal. Next one. So, the goal is to uh, maintain the trust of all concerned parties in the correctness of the measurement. The aim of legal metrology is to maintain the high level of trust that the society puts into them for measurement that serve as the basis for the price to pay. So the legal metrology, the consumers look up to them so that they are not overcharged. Similarly, the charge point, the businesses also look up to them so that their device is under legal metrology control and they can tell the consumers that we are following the rule of the land. That is very important for mutual trust. Then the trust is based on two essential properties of the measurement. The measurement must be carried out using a measuring instrument under legal metrology control, and the impartial protection of LM guarantees the instrument does not favor any party. This, this would avoid any hidden fraud and the transaction would be in the most transparent manner. Next one. So what is also important is that we do not do any excess because any control will limit the freedom and it should be as limited as possible while responding to the needs and also be effective. All these are things which are known to the legal metrology department, only they have been put in some different words. Therefore, the metrological regulation must be limited to as small a part of the charging station as possible. For a charging station, the following properties of the meter must be assured by metrological regulation. So, the legal metrology department has a very important role and they will have to look into it because at present the utilization of the charging stations around 2%. That is the figures we have. But with time, another 5 years, 10 years down the line, this is going to become one of the very, very important roles of the legal metrology department. Because the measurement must be correct. The billing must be based on the energy transferred across the property boundary. The measurement result that serve as the basis for the price to pay must be available to the consumer. So the mutual trust between two stakeholders, two important stakeholders, the businesses that will be setting up charging stations and the consumers have to be established by the legal metrology department and they hold the key for any future progress in this field. Next one. So here, this is verbatim I've taken from the Canadian legal metrology mandate. There's nothing which I have put here. It is just to give as to where the world is moving and already OIML and various other advanced countries are working in this direction. So what the Canadian website says is our mandate is to protect the right of consumers to accurate and reliable measurement when they make a purchase based on measurement. As part of a mandate, we administer the EGIA, that is the Electricity and Gas Inspection Act of Canada, which sets out requirements for the performance of measuring devices when charging for the purchase or sale of electricity. It also sets out the requirement for operators to register their measuring devices when selling electricity. Why are technical requirements important? EGIA sets out requirements for measuring devices that sell electricity on the basis of measurement. For example, accuracy performance standards. These requirements ensure consumers and businesses receive accurate and reliable measurement by establishing minimum measurement standards to which all vendors selling electricity must comply, allowing billing for an electric vehicle charge based on amount of electricity consumed during a charge. For example, kilowatt hour without any technical standards would put consumers and businesses at increased risk of loss due to inaccurate measurement or incorrectly functioning measuring devices. So this is the role of legal metrology, which I was trying to explain and which has been put very beautifully in this website. Thanks. That's all what I have. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Any
very much, sir,
questions?
for your brief and kind presentation. Sir, actually, there are few questions. One is, it will be the best idea if we have a hybrid mode, this blending oil as well as this battery. How it is possible? Because what I observed in the vehicles which are available right now, they are only having the battery facility, not the oil.
You see, Ashutosh, the thing is, hybrid is also a very good concept, but the problem is the price goes up because here in a hybrid electric vehicle, you have to have two powertrains. One is the gasoline powertrain, which consists of the petrol engine, the crankshaft, the wheels, the various mechanical parts, as well as the electric powertrain. So the cost goes up. But there are many countries in the world like uh, Japan. Japan believes in hybrid cars. Camry is one of their very Toyota Camry is one of the very popular hybrid cars. But again, the cost is on the higher side. But uh, but here, what is important is it is basically the consumer preferences, the market forces, and the economics of the whole thing, which will decide where we move. So basically, you and me, we have to make the choices, and accordingly, the things, market forces will decide. But my idea was to just give you a total brief broad view of what various technologies are available at present. It is not only gasoline, it is ethanol with gasoline, flex fuel vehicle is there. Then you have battery electric vehicle, then you have hybrid, then you have plug-in hybrid vehicle, and above all, which one technology I didn't mention was hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. So basically the
Yes.
commercial vehicles will be moving towards hydrogen vehicles. Already
Yes,
you
sir.
must be reading in the newspapers. That is
Yes,
also
sir.
coming in a very big way.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
But sir, how
uh,
much the change in the
your
cost? How much will
lecture
the
was a
percentage
great
cost?
lecture, and where we came to know the different type of uh, mechanism to drive the vehicle and the choice of the consumer whether to purchase the direct electrical vehicle or mixed type of the things where the gasolines are there, ethanols are there, and ethanols you have mentioned the octane 18. So that is a very high precise uh, level of the liquid which will drive the vehicle in a such a way that there will be no pollution at all there. The objective of the electric vehicle is the pollution.
Yes,
A,
correct.
uh, pollution to control the pollutions and not very other type of things.
So
And what were you
these
have
vehicles
mentioned
are called
that in a
ZUV
hybrid
vehicles.
type of things, that is the most effective and it is the choice of the consumers and is very good for the control of the this uh, environment. So environment now these days the government is focusing more on the that there should be good environment and the vehicle should not create such pollutions for that very point, this all type of vehicles, whatever you have mentioned, so it is very good things, and you have brought a very good knowledge to us, and the participant who are participating in these very seminars, I think they have learned this very technology, that now we were thinking that only the electrical vehicle means the only the electric is there. No, there is a different type of also energy, and type of vehicles are available, and objective of the government is only that free pollutions and other type of things, and the safety of the consumers and the safety of the users also. So I think you have brought us the most of the things to understand these very things. And when government will come to in a means Mr. Ashutosh Agrawal, when he will try to draft it in rules, general rules, he has to consult the all the stakeholders, and the charges is decided by the state government. Whatever the point you have mentioned is that there is the state government committee, the taxis who are running, that is decided by the state government, but the others parameters has to be decided by the central government. So he has to consult the all type of rules made in the different country, as well as the mm, uh, the industries also who are using this type of vehicle and their problems also, because objective is to control the environment, not any other type of. Thank you, sir. You have given the great
Thank you.
presentations.
Thank you
We
very much, sir.
cannot
Sir, how
forget
much will
it.
be the difference in percentage? If we say it's a hybrid vehicle having this other liquid oil as well as the battery, how much will be the percentage
Percentage will
difference?
be around, say, it will be 30 to 40% costlier.
Okay, 30 to 40%, but it is one-time cost.
One-time cost. But
Okay,
your running cost,
very good.
it is around 30 to 40% more efficient also, less power consumption, less emissions. So
Yes, sir.
it has advantages also.
Okay, very good. So, sir, we must make it popular in India that we can have both type of engines, both type of is hybrid vehicle. I have. Do you have you seen, sir, in India any type of hybrid vehicle yet, or any of the manufacturer or importer?
Maruti makes hybrid vehicles, then Toyota makes
Acha,
hybrid vehicles, but they're not very popular because it is very costly. People are very price conscious. They don't want to pay 30-40% extra. And if you are running your car for around 25-30 kilometers in a day, then paying a little extra per kilometer is uh, still better than paying some 5-6 lakhs extra while buying a car. So basically, technology has to become more competitive, cheaper, and economies of scale has to be there. Today, very few people will buy hybrid cars, so they don't have economies of scale. So when we mentioned about the technology moving up the value chain, moving in higher technology areas, the limitation in our country is that we don't have economies of scale. To overcome that, the PLI scheme is the production linked incentive scheme for automobiles and auto components, which would provide that 15 to 18% incentive to bring down the cost. So when the cost comes down, the number of people buying will increase. As it increases, the cost will further come down. Then you can become a major exporter also. Today, in the world trade, you contribute just 2%, as compared to many other countries which contribute around 20-30%. So that is basically the aim, to kickstart the entire technological revolution. And it is seen that automobile, defense, aerospace, all these three fields are very closely linked. Any development in one field helps the development in other two areas, defense as well as your aerospace. So world over, like if you look at Detroit in USA, okay, so all these places are the hub for uh, the three industries, the aerospace, the automobile and defense.
Okay, sir. Sir, as far as this battery and OML is concerned, so we have all actually at OML level, we are working on these standards, and very soon, as soon as the OML recommendations will come for this electronic batteries, we will make our rules for that.
Yes, so that is also one of the important aspects of my today's presentation, to bring out the
Yes,
role of legal metrology, because
sir.
that plays a pivotal role. Because if the charging
Yes, sir.
infrastructure is not there, and tomorrow you find in a charging station consumers fighting that I have not been
Yes,
charged, I have been overcharged, because the
yes,
charging cost will be very high. It will be
yes,
400, 500 rupees. So he will be very conscious as to what he is paying.
true,
And number of
true,
charging stations will increase, so it will benefit both the consumers and the charge
sir.
point operators, both, if
Yes,
we
sir.
have a proper
So,
framework in place.
yes, sir. So we are the member of that committee, OML committee, and we are working on it. Very soon we will come with the OML recommendation, and then we'll place it in our.
Yes.
Thank you. Sir, Santoshji, can we take the photos of all the participants, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would like to request all the participants to kindly switch on their videos and switch off their mics, please. If they want to ask any question, they may, but one by one, please, after raising their hands.
Some people have not opened the videos.
Yes, Santoshji.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind presentation. So we will take your help again. Thank you, Dikshit sir. Thank you all the participants and the NIC team who is working on holidays to make this program successful. Thanks all. We can close this meeting next week at 11 o'clock. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.